William McGregor, the father of league football. He never actively played the game, but he did love it. In 1888, this portly, bearded Scot had a simple but inspired idea: to create a competition which would be challenging for those taking part in it, entertaining for those watching. For 100 years since that moment, the Football League Championship has done precisely that. Great managers have come and gone, great characters, and most of all, great crowds. For the game of football belongs to the people. For an hour and a half each week, the fan escapes from his work and joins forces with strangers in support of a favourite team or player. As for the ultimate prize, well, who better to describe it but one of the game's legendary figures?
The main thing in our bread and butter is this. And that's what we want to win all the time. And this is the one that we want.
It was still bread and butter for Liverpool in the league's centenary year. They won the title with distinction, helped by a memorable performance against Nottingham Forest.
Barnes, Houghton goes again, he's through. Reynard. Beardsley, he seems to be able to find space and find Aldridge. And that is another superb Liverpool goal. Barnes working it to Houghton, Aldridge, Gillespie! Decisive finish. And the move so fast from the corner that all Steve Sutton had done earlier was wiped out in another bewildering piece of Liverpool football. No wonder the goalkeeper shakes his head. Ray Houghton finding Nigel Spatman. Barnes against Chettle. Oh, look at Barnes here. They're waiting for the pullback. Beardsley! Oh! A glorious goal again for Liverpool. And the England forwards conspire to produce another marvellous moment. Chettle. Oh, well played Spatman. And Beardsley. And Spatman. And Aldridge! It's 5! And Aldridge is counting up the goals against Forest.
Even before William McGregor came upon the scene, the game of football was attracting sizable crowds. However, it needed this visionary Perthshire man to come up with a revolutionary plan to set football on the right road. In the spring of 1888, McGregor chaired 2 meetings, one in London, one in Manchester, which led to 12 existing clubs being formally invited to become members of the league. 6 of the clubs came from Lancashire, 6 more from the Midlands area. No southern club received an invitation simply because there was no professional football south of Birmingham. In the year that McGregor became the league's first president, Victoria was Queen of Great Britain, Florence Nightingale was still nursing, W.G. Grace was captain of England's cricketers, and John L. Sullivan was the last bare-knuckle heavyweight champion of the world. The early days of league football offer a sharp contrast to the game we know today. Look, for instance, at the long shorts and the heavy boots worn by the players of Tottenham and Chelsea. The referee's kit was pretty sedate as well, with bow tie and watch chain. As for the action, well, it looked pretty crowded and stationary in comparison to the modern era. Of course, the objective has always remained the same.
Preston North End were the first champions and completed a League and FA Cup double without losing a match. Aston Villa emulated Preston's double feat in 1897. They went on to win the championship 5 times before the turn of the century. Newcastle United were the outstanding side in the early 1900s. They won the league championship 3 times in 5 seasons and reached the FA Cup final 5 times in 7 seasons. Among the huge crowds they attracted to St James's Park was one important politician of the age. Newcastle was also the venue for international matches, and in 1907 St James's Park staged the 23rd meeting of the Old Enemy. On this occasion, honours finished even, with a 1-1 draw, with Scotland, curiously, in hoop shirts that day.
Steve Bloomer's 353 goals in 598 league games made him an early legend. Then there was Bill McCracken, an Irish fullback whose astute play led to a change in the offside law. Welsh wizard Billy Meredith, whose career spanned some 30 years and took him into his 50s. The biggest early character, literally, was Billy Fatty Foo. The Sheffield United, Chelsea and England keeper was 6'2" and weighed in at an agile 22 stone. Meanwhile, transfers were already an emotive issue, and when Middlesbrough paid the first £1,000 fee to Sunderland for Alf Common, there was uproar. The same outcry has occurred throughout 100 years as fees continued to spiral. David Jack, bought by Arsenal for the first 5-figure fee. Little Bryn Jones, another Arsenal signing, left Wolves for £14,000. In 1966, Tony Hateley made history as the first player valued at £100,000. Then it was £500,000 as David Mills moved to West Bromwich Albion from Middlesbrough. In the same year, the first £1 million player, Trevor Francis, signed by Nottingham Forest manager Brian Clough from Birmingham City. By now, good players were at a premium. £1.5 million was the price asked of Manchester United for Brian Robson, the West Bromwich Albion midfield star.
There it's going to come to Robson. All through a crowd of players and in!
£1.9 million became the new British record fee as little Peter Beardsley joined Liverpool from Newcastle United. And then the £2 million barrier was broken in the league's centenary year when Paul Gascoigne's potential led to Spurs agreeing that fee with Newcastle.
In for Gascoigne, and the shot is on. Oh, that's a gem! Paul Gascoigne!
The new record British fee lasted only a matter of weeks, and then it became £2.5 million as West Ham's Tony Cottee became an Everton player.
Ward. Knight has hesitated. Now West Ham can win it here with Cottee.
You can only wonder what William McGregor would have made of such fees. He would have been equally surprised at how quickly the game grew. Early balance sheets showing just a few pounds spending quickly became museum pieces as the game expanded, caught on in the south, and suddenly became big business. On and off the field there were examples of the game becoming more professional. Here the West Bromwich Albion players on a training stroll. The importance of fitness was beginning to be recognised. And after a match, a brisk rub down and a massage for players became a must. Media coverage also became more extensive, and as it did, players, managers and teams became household names. There were those who refused to go along with professionalism, like Vivian Woodward, a great amateur centre-forward with Spurs and Chelsea, who refused to accept even his bus fare to matches.
The game was fast becoming an industry. Footballs made by hand. Boots entering the technological age. Apart from league action, the FA Cup, which began in 1872, continued to flourish and attract an enormous following. All records were broken in 1913, as 120,000 people packed into Crystal Palace to see Aston Villa beat Sunderland with a solitary goal from Barber. The game continued to flourish for 2 more years. Sadly, the Great War then brought the progress of the game to a halt, at least temporarily. The fact that half of the country's professional players joined the forces was reflected in the representative games played between 1915 and 1919. On the restart, there was more expansion and change. The first and second divisions of the league were increased to 22 clubs each, and within a couple of years, 2 third divisions were added, first south, then north. On the field of play, there were changes as well, with an alteration in the offside law in 1925.
Then there was that legendary manager, Herbert Chapman. He had a mighty influence on the game in the 20s and 30s. Tactically and commercially, he was ahead of his time. His Huddersfield Town team won the First Division in 1924 and 1925, and by the time they won it again in 1926, Chapman had moved on to Arsenal, where he created the most illustrious period in their history. Chapman stood astride the 20s and 30s, and so it was appropriate that his 2 teams met in the cup final of 1930. This Huddersfield side, unused and faintly embarrassed by the newsreel cameras, were truly the Liverpool of their day. Meanwhile, Arsenal, now under Chapman, won that 1930 final. He had so much talent to name.
To appear at Wembley on April the 26th. Tom Parker, our captain. Joe Hume. Bill Seddon. David Halliday. Idris Hapgood. Charlie Doan. Alf Baker. Clifford Baston.
Under Chapman, Arsenal won the First Division title for 4 years out of 5, 1931, 33, 34 and 1935. And in the missing year, 1932, they were runners-up.
Alec James.
So this was Arsenal in 1933, against Spurs at White Hart Lane. The crowds were growing all the time. This is remarkably good quality film from more than half a century ago, even though the newsreel commentary of the day might have been considered just a little downbeat by today's standards.
Alex James, the Arsenal's famous little captain, wins the toss for the red shirts, and the lily-white Spurs, who are at their full strength, kick off against the sun. The Spurs seem to be the more dangerous in the early stages of the match, conditions suiting their fast game. However, it is from a penalty that the goal is obtained, awarded by the referee for a foul on Evans.
Chapman died in 1934, and he didn't live long enough to see Arsenal's 3rd successive championship win. In fact, they won it 5 times in the 1930s and the FA Cup twice, and still they called them Lucky Arsenal. The late Bernard Joy, a distinguished journalist, played for Arsenal under Chapman.
He was, without any doubt, the greatest manager of all time, because he lifted league football to professional level. He made the game a great entertainment industry. He knew tactics backwards and forwards. He got a great air for publicity. And in addition, he managed to persuade the players to lift themselves on behalf of the club.
2 years earlier, David Jack had scored his 100th goal for Arsenal, a formidable record and one of Chapman's cornerstones. But on Merseyside, they believed everyone paled alongside the great Dixie Dean. Dixie scored 60 times in the 27-28 season, 40 with his head. A rare piece of archive film, slowed down, now shows that remarkable ability that old-timers still talk about.
A great header by Dixie Dean, who thus equals Bloomer's record of 352 goals.
And here he is again in a match against Chelsea at Goodison Park. Here he was on the score sheet 5 times, even though the cameras captured only 3. Mind you, Joe Payne scored 10 for Luton against Bristol Rovers on Easter Monday in 1936. One Saturday in 1935, Ted Drake of Arsenal scored 7 First Division goals against Aston Villa. While amongst goalkeepers, Frank Swift, an amiable giant of a man with Manchester City, had few equals. Slowly, more thought was being given to training, but it was still quaint by today's standards. This is Liverpool at the start of the 1935 season.
They must be trying to get their weight down. It would be more pleasant to bask on some sunny beach, but there's a cup to be won, and it's the only dribbler who gets the goals. Some of the training is almost juggling. Some of it is pretty strenuous, for the boys of the Liverpool club are out to win the Premier Trophy.
Football shadows are cast across the cricket pitch, and scenes such as these at Wolverhampton are being enacted all over the country. The long-suffering footballer is training and perspiring in readiness to thrill the crowds in the coming season. The Wolves have a novelty.
At Wolverhampton, they invented a kicking machine. To this day, it's hard to work out just what that was meant to do. So things were moving on, but not so far as playing kit was concerned. West Bromwich Albion players, like all others, would be asked to drag these massive shin pads round the pitch for 90 minutes.
The Second World War brought a halt to the league programme after only 7 days of the 1939 season. Football was played regionally, and Wembley still hosted a few top games.
A Wembley close-up. Ted Drake of the RAF changes into the Arsenal uniform before the Football League South War Cup final. And Sergeant Dennis Compton, another star from the Arsenal constellation. George Allison, their manager, looked him over with a glint in his eye, a look of confidence it was. A glimpse of the enemy's camp with Sergeant Major Don Welsh, Charlton's skipper, and some of his team. I wonder if Jimmy Seed felt as confident as George Allison. And when the teams came out, I bet there were darn few among the crowd of 75,000 who could have guessed a score of 7-1 for the Gunner. After 4 minutes, a pass from Kirchen gave Lewis a chance to open the score, and he took it. It was the first of 4 goals he was to score during the match, and about 5 minutes later, Dennis Compton beat Hobbins with a good one to put Arsenal 2 up. And so it went on at short intervals all through the game. There was only one exception when Scott handled during a Charlton raid and a penalty was awarded. You'll see Scott slip down in the goal mouth and touch the ball with his hand in a moment. There. Green took the kick. But it didn't stay at 2-1 for long, the Gunners doubling their score before half-time. Drake got their 5th, and here's a goalkeeper's view of it. It was hard luck for Charlton that their first appearance at Wembley should have been the occasion for a record total of goals against them. There was a 6th goal and then a 7th, and this is Lewis scoring it. The Duke and Duchess of Gloucester were present, and the Duchess presented the cup to George Mayle.
Some grounds like Highbury, this is the bomb-hit North Bank, felt the full force of it all. Many footballers, their careers short at the best of time, lost the best years of their sporting lives, and some lost everything. As the war came to an end, grounds were repaired. Football entered a boom period. In 1946-47, 25 million fans came back to football. The next season it was 40 million, and the season after that, 48-49, it was nearly 42 million. Liverpool were the first post-war champions. It was a bitter winter, but the Cops certainly had plenty to cheer. Jackie Balmer was one of their heroes. Centre-forward Albert Stubbins had been bought from Newcastle, a formidable goal scorer. And some say the greatest ever Liverpool player, Billy Liddell, was in wonderful form. But look what was happening at Charlton.
Newsreel cameramen, well, Movietone cameramen to be precise, recently took a hand in the training of a soccer team. It was Charlton Athletic's own idea. They weren't satisfied with their form, and they chose the occasion of their meeting with Burnley, whom they defeated in last year's cup final, to have a film made of the entire match. Football strategy, tactics and individual performances all were faithfully recorded by expert cameramen. Don Welsh, last year's skipper, and Jack Ramsden of Movietone made technical notes during the course of the match, and from many angles our cameras carried on with the important job of filming Charlton in action. Every tackle, every pass was put on record for future reference. And when you come to think of it, what better way could there be of showing players just where they went wrong? Later, Charlton went to a cinema to see the result of this experiment in soccer training. Afterwards, Jimmy Seed, Charlton secretary-manager, and Don Welsh looked through sections of the film and emphasised certain points with the team, which then had a practice. And what about the result of closely studying Movietone's film? Well, Charlton certainly showed impressively improved form against the Wolves.
Portsmouth then became the team to beat. They were champions in 1949 and 1950.
Near record Fratton Park crowd is silenced as a tough Sheffield defence and brilliant goalkeeping by Dave McIntosh bottle up Pompey's free-scoring forward. But the Portsmouth attack is persistent. Here, Jack Trogard sends Ike Clark, number 9, away, and only smart interception by the Sheffield defence holds off a dangerous move. Sheffield's first-time methods pay their reward, and skipper Eddie Quigley puts them one up. Ex-Marine Len Phillips, number 10, is the hero of the home team's attack. His clever move brings about a corner. And with the crowd ready to cheer, young Peter Harris heads in the equaliser. With the scores level, the second half finds Sheffield trying hard for the winning goal. But a defence as resolute as Portsmouth is not easily beaten twice in one match. With goalie Butler on top of his form, backing up a brilliant team, Pompey hopes of winning the cup, or the league, or even both, may well come true. But even their most ardent fans will admit that a lot of luck helped Len Phillips slam in the winner and send Portsmouth into the next round.
While Portsmouth were winning the title in 1950, Spurs were winning promotion to Division 1, and as the crowd swarmed to White Hart Lane, Spurs then set about going one better and winning the First Division title, which they did in 1951. But it was their method of play that made fans and opponents alike sit up and take notice. It was known as push and run, and it was the brainchild of manager Arthur Rowe. One of his talented squad was a wing-half called Bill Nicholson, who was to become one of the club's greatest servants. He served them for over 50 years.
Well, push and run was perhaps another term for saying let the ball do the work. You know, whenever you made a pass, you ran. You ran to a new position. You may run forward, you may run side, you may run just supporting, but you move to a new position. Because the game is all about space, and it's all about movement. And so therefore, that fulfilled the primary sort of slogan that we had at this club in those days, which was, the man without the ball makes the play.
10 years later, in 1961, Bill Nicholson was still in the picture, now in the front row as manager. He created the team that surpassed even the great push and run era. They became the first side this century to complete the League and Cup double.
Well, the 60-61 team had more variety about their play, and they were a bit more fluid in what they were doing. More of the skills of the game were brought into play. And I'm not going to say that we'd be exactly the same today, because the game, as a game, is played a lot differently tactically now than what it was in our 60s side.
But what names there were: Mackay, White, Bobby Smith, and the man in the number 4 shirt, Danny Blanchflower.
Smith really piling it on now. Through to Smith, he's got the chance. Allen, and Allen scored!
There was a common denominator about our game. We used to have certain little slogans about the game, like the man without the ball, he makes the play. We're not in possession, get into position. You know, play the way you're facing. Time is equal to yards. Cut them out, eliminate them. So the next pass will eliminate the next man. So you've automatically beat one, and you beat the second with a pass. You put two players out of the game.
A delightful goal from Dave Mackay. In spirit and skill, he embodied everything that was Tottenham at that time. And to think that he twice bounced back after breaking a leg.
On the question of courage, with skill and style as well, there's Sir Matt Busby. For over 40 years, he's been a father figure at Manchester United. He built 3 great United sides, and in 16 seasons, between 1952 and 1967, won 5 league titles. The Busby Babes, they called them. He had a talent for spotting youngsters, and the nerve to give them their chance. If they're good enough, they're old enough, he used to say. But surely not that young. They won the Cup in 1948, and after being runners-up 4 times in 5 years, they finally took the championship in 1951-52, when some of the older players, like Carey, Pearson, Downey, Rowley and Coburn, had been joined by Roger Byrne and John Berry. By the time they won the championship next in 1955-56, Duncan Edwards, a giant young prodigy who played in the First Division at 15 and for England at 17, had joined the Manchester United side, which had an average age of 22.
Once again, the dark shirt. Dark shirts going into the attack. Scanlon taking it forward. Comes Varlett. Varlett with the ball going through. Varlett shoots. Varlett shoots. He's put it past. He's gone wide.
They clinched the championship 3 matches from the end, when they came back from behind to beat Blackpool at Old Trafford.
Down to 10 men. Tommy Taylor having gone off, put Duncan Edwards up at centre forward, throwing everything on the attack. And there's Berry getting them going. Berry, number 7, with the ball. Still United on the attack. And then great chance there for Violet. This time it's a penalty. There's Roger Byrne to take the pen. Berry took the penalty, and that makes the score 1-1. Pegg with it out on the left wing. All the United forwards up. Violet. Cross to Berry, it comes. The right wing. Blackpool defence trying the offside game. Berry going through with it by himself. Cross it comes, and Palms made a perfect hit. It's a goal.
Next season they were favourites to retain the title.
Good run by Berry. Berry still with it. Matthews back there tackling him. And there it is! A magnificent goal by Taylor.
By Pegg. Now Whelan. Pegg. I mentioned that. Really keeping the ball on the floor. Now young McGuinness to Berry, cutting it very nicely. This could be the first goal. It's a goal, a lovely one. It's Manchester coming back on the attack. It's almost a relentless tide now. A battle between these Manchester forwards and wing halves. And here's one of the wing halves, Coleman, and this Spurs defence. It's Pegg. Pegg out to number 10, Edwards. This equalising goal must come. And there it is! Yes, it's a great goal! It's scored by Coleman!
Manchester United had still not reached their peak when tragedy struck.
Munich Airport, and wreckage that tells the story of the dreadful disaster. The house, about 300 yards beyond the end of the runway, struck by the doomed aircraft. Here, 21 out of the 44 people aboard lost their lives when it crashed. As the news of the disaster became known, Britain was appalled. Among the fatalities were 7 members of the famous Manchester United team. Here, only a few hours before, the United team had been homeward bound with yet another success to their credit, through again into the European semi-finals. Football grounds throughout the country flew flags at half-mast, and football fans wore tokens of mourning. players, black armbands, tributes to the men of Manchester, sports writers, and all who died. The Saturday matches were played, and that's how those who died would have wished. Mourning is nationwide, indeed worldwide, for men who once delighted the crowds.
It took 7 years for a new breed of Busby Babes to take the title again.
There's Law, and it's 3-0. Beautiful goal by Law. And Manchester United just carving this Arsenal team apart.
We were now beginning to look a good side from being a relegation team the season before. 64, I think we landed second, and we started to play some very nice football. And of course we went into the 64-65 season very confident. Best by that time was an established player, scoring goals. David Herd, who got more or less 20 goals and 20-odd goals every season. Bobby Charlton would knock in his 20 or whatever. Pat Creighton with these beautiful long balls down, well, particularly say for me. George Best on there. Bill Fuchs, Nobby Stiles had come into the side. So we were a sort of mixture of everything. We had a mixture of guile, we had a mixture of class, goal scorers, and people who could... A little Nobby.
Who was that?
Occasionally Nobby would, you know, put a little bit of stick in, if required. So we had... To have a championship side, you really have got to have a mixture of all that, and we did have it.
Knights with Connelly. Up goes Hurd. Jennings there again, Best. Now, can Creighton do it? A goal, a beautiful goal. Free kick then to Manchester United. Oh, and this may be the first one. And it is the first one, and it's Law. Vanetti for Chelsea. To McCready. Best with McCready, and McCready's made a cut, and it's a magnificent goal. Best, what a magnificent goal! A truly brilliant.
United won the championship in 1964-65 by 0.6 of a goal ahead of Leeds United, thanks to this 1-0 win at Elland Road.
Best. Jack Charlton. Always the master in the middle in defence. Connelly, and there's the first goal by Connelly.
It was the first full season when Busby had brought together that all-conquering trio, Law, Best and Charlton.
Charlton making it with supreme accuracy to Connelly. Which again, Law, that's it.
They won the championship again in 1966-67, and by now Best was at his most impudent. He scored goals, and he made them too.
Hurd. Has to watch for Law. It's a goal by Law. There's Best. It's a goal. He's hit the post. Best. Oh, is he going to get it? Yes, it looks like it. Great save by Jennings.
The United side and the one before Munich had set such high standards, and it also marked the start of a long wait on the outside for their next championship triumph. These truly were times for United fans to savour.
Best. Awesome. Quick 1-2 wall passes. There's Creighton to Best. Oh, but that's Law. A goal. Charlton, you'll notice the number 10 Harris for Burnley is playing almost a defensive role. A beautiful goal. Oh, that was one out of the blue by Hurd.
Away goes Charlton. Here comes David Hurd. And Creran, the lovely goal. Styles. Charlton. Oh, a good bit of football by Aston to Creran. To Sata, is this number 4? Yes.
You can only do it if you've got good players, and we had good players in the side. I think the 67 championship probably gave us more joy than any, because I know we had to go down to West Ham, which I think was our last away game, before coming back to Old Trafford. We had a chance on the home game, but we went down there, and it was just one of those games, you know, you think, well, you know, the night before you're hoping everything goes well. Tomorrow, you get out there, there's a huge crowd at West Ham who always played good football anyway, so you always felt that you were in with a chance of doing something in it. And of course, everything turned out absolutely perfect on the day. I think we actually played magnificent football, and I think if my memory serves me right, I think we beat them 6-1, which was a lovely way to win the championship. The only instruction that Busby ever gave really was, well, we know you can play football. Go out and play the type of football that you could play, Best, Charlton, whatever. And if you've tried your best, no matter what the result is at the end of the game, if you've tried your best, I could ask for no more. And that was as simple as that.
Graham to Morgan. McDougall to Charlton! Best helping it on for Law. Law turning well. And scoring! But O'Neill to George Best again. Getting past Robson. Still with Best. Getting one go and a goal! George Best then. And on the far side, Creran. Look at that for a pass as well. What a superb pass by Charlton. Not such a good one by Paddy Creran, but in fact Bobby Charlton made something of it. Law lifting himself again, Dowling, Best, and there it is, George Best.
Only one manager could match Busby's achievements in the 50s, and that was Stanley Cullis. He led Wolves to 3 league championships, 1954, 58 and 59. Like his predecessor Major Buckley, Cullis put great store on discipline and fitness. His captain was Billy Wright.
Major liked the players to be fit and standard. I mean, we trained very, very hard, running. We'd open up, say Tuesday morning, running about 3 miles. Then you go down to a mile, then 800, then 200, and then the sprints.
And when did you see the ball?
About 5 minutes afterwards. That's all we got. But the number of times that we won our matches in the latter stages of the game, the last 10 or 15 minutes, on pure and simply we were the fitter side.
Slater always got it there. Hooper, and there it is! That's it! Well, what a game this is. There's the Wolves' 4th goal. They've come back from 3-0 down to 4-3 and just about 2 minutes left for play, and the Wolves now leading 4-3.
Glorious days for the Wolves. They continued as Cullis began to bring in new players. Bert Williams, their superb goalkeeper, had been replaced by Malcolm Finlayson. At right half, the uncompromising Eddie Clamp was still there. At left half now, Ron Flowers had begun to make a major contribution. Bill Slater was centre half. Johnny Hancox, the newspapers always spoke of his size 5.5 boots, a splendid little winger with a great shot, had gone by 1958, and now the right flank was in the hands of Norman Dealey. He too had a stunning shot, now benefiting from the skillful passing of Peter Broadbent.
Broadbent brilliantly going past Jones, and it comes inside of Dealey, and the Wolves now streaking down towards the Everton goal. Dealey trying a shot, and a great goal by him.
To add to it all, Jim Murray now emerged as one of the most consistent scorers in Wolves' history.
On for Murray to go for. There's Murray, it's a goal, a beauty. And a lovely corner, a great goal by Murray. Shuffles, losing it to Murray, and there's Dealey now. Pushing it through, and there's Murray going onto it, tries it, and there!
We have seen Ted Drake as an Arsenal player, But as manager of Chelsea, he won the championship in 1955.
I had a feeling they were very cup-minded. I said to the players, I would like to win the cup, of course, but I would dearly love to win the league.
And win the championship they did in 1955. Sadly, there are few pictures of Chelsea's solitary championship triumph, but Ted Drake does tell how his chief scout unearthed a real footballing gem.
And he phoned through this time, and I said to him, we've gone down to Manchester United 6-5. And I said, Seamus have got 3, just imagine. And before I could say another word, he said, now don't worry at all, Governor, I've got a better player than any of those. And you know who it was? Jimmy Greaves.
Ted still regards Jimmy as one of England's greatest ever forwards. He still holds Chelsea's record of 41 First Division goals in the 1960-61 season.
Another club with a solitary post-war success were Burnley. They took the title in 1960. Managed by Harry Potts, they were a team of unsung heroes, but in John Connelly, they had a winger of international quality.
Inside by Pointer, Pilkington onto it, hooks it high back across the goals. Connelly, can he get it in? And it is it,
yes! Perhaps the most improbable post-war champions were Ipswich. Rustic, underrated, but under Alf Ramsey, they outwitted them all. They became only the 4th side to win the 2nd Division and 1st Division championships in successive seasons. And for East Anglia, these were truly the swinging 60s. Ray Crawford and Ted Phillips scored the goals. Jimmy Ledbetter made them all play. Manager Alf Ramsey was to go to even greater glory with England in 1966, and through it all, he kept his feet firmly on the ground.
Mr. Ramsey, you've done it. We just heard that Burnley have drawn. You've won the championship of the 1st Division in your 1st season, and I feel a great deal of this is due to you. How do you feel?
I feel fine, and I'm delighted. I'm delighted for everyone.
Like Ramsey, Joe Mercer was one of the few to win a championship medal as a player and as a manager. Joe's managerial success came in tandem with Malcolm Allison at Manchester City.
Doyle's going up for it. And it's there by Bell! Oakes again. Now Summerby. To Tony Book. Doyle coming forward. City so full of confidence at the moment, as you would expect. Bell going right through. Bell, number 2, Colin Bell.
Looking for Davis, England there. Kinnear. Doyle can try again. Bell. Clear, but only Davis up with him now. Lee, if he sees him just behind the attack. Summerby. Bell having to pull players back before making the pass. Davis across with England. Hit the post and Wigan. Jeffries, Lee.
The real dominating force at this time, though, were Leeds United, led by Don Revie. who 18 years after his triumphs at Elland Road returned to meet the current manager and his former captain, Billy Bremner. Leeds weren't the best loved team, but they were ultra-professional and, make no mistake, took team play to a new level. On the way to the Championship that year, they beat Liverpool.
Hateley winning that. Hunt with a chance. Oh, he had a chance of a good pass out to Thompson on the right, but Leeds have got it. Bremner a quick one. It's troublesome. Yes! Jones through! Oh, well taken! That's the final goal for Leeds United. Giles opening up, situation opening up. Chance, that's it! Scorer is Lorimer. That's it! Mick Jones! Well, Alex Stepney, the Manchester United goalkeeper, made that easier for him, but Mick Jones made no mistake with his effort. Lorimer. Nice play. Oh, great goal! What a great goal!
5 years later, Leeds won it again.
Beattie. Mills. Gregg. Get there first. Mills decided not to use his goalkeeper, trying to get it across to Burley. Gray. Clark. Bailey. That was meant for Bremner. For Queen. Finding Lorimer. Six-man Wall and Clark. What a save! Bremner score! Bremner makes it 2. It's 2-0. Turini.
So far as the Championship was concerned, that was the end of the Reevey era. It was also an era when clubs, having successfully installed floodlights, now looked for better playing conditions even in the severest winter. Everton were one of the first to install undersoil heating back in 1958. 5 years later, with Harry Catterick at the helm, they won the Championship for the first time since the days of Dixie Dean back in 1939. Now the idol of Goodison was Alex Young. They called him the Golden Vision. He epitomised the Everton side of that time, skillful, creative and exciting. But it was the touch of Young himself which the Everton fans will always relate to that Championship-winning team. 7 years later, Harry Catterick built an equally attractive team based around the brilliant midfield trio of Alan Ball, Colin Harvey and Howard Kendall. They won the Championship by 7 points, but surprisingly, they then had to wait another 15 years for their next title, and we shall be coming to that later.
We have to go back to 1948 and those boom years to trace Arsenal's post-war success in the Football League Championship. Manager Tom Whittaker, like Herbert Chapman before him, produced a winning side. The title was won twice, in 1948 and 53, and now they were preparing to win the FA Cup in 1950. Their skipper was Joe Mercer, who trained alone where he lived on Merseyside.
He too has been keeping in first-class trim, of course. The others are at Brighton. Golf, I need hardly mention, is only a sideline. They certainly mean to run as far and as fast as Liverpool at Wembley. The Gunners, indeed, are just as determined to win the Cup as their rivals in the north. Obviously, fitness and strong nerves, in addition to class football and real teamwork, will play a big part in victory for either side. Their manager, Mr. Whittaker, does the honours.
I'd like to introduce the team to you now. Wally Barnes, Ian McPherson, George Swindon, Laurie Scott, Jimmy Logie, Archie McCauley, Raymond Daniels, Lionel Smith, Leslie Compton, Dennis Compton, Ted Platt, Freddie Cox, Reg Lewis, Don Roper, Dougie Lishman, Peter Goring, and our trainer Billy Milne.
But perhaps Arsenal's greatest days since the time of Herbert Chapman and the 1930s came in 1971. when a team without stars was welded together by their former physiotherapist, now manager, Bertie Mee, and his coach Don Howe. They became a resilient side, wholly professional, and so difficult to knock out of their stride.
Redford on his own.
Kelly. Oh, he sent a letter. That's a good ball from Graham. He's got 3 on the far post, 1 coming across the nearest Kennedy. From Armstrong.
And he can throw a long one too.
Kelly. Armstrong, Graham, it's Wilson now to Munro. Off, the way it was Sal's, that story. Radford, Graham, and a goal scored by McClintock. Armstrong, Radford. Yes, Kennedy!
George! He's done it! But what a championship finish. 5 days before the cup final, they went to their oldest rival Spurs, knowing that they had to win or draw 0-0 to pip Leeds for the title. Ray Kennedy here saw that they won it with 8 minutes to go. And within a week, skipper Frank McClintock had also picked up the FA Cup at Wembley, the 4th double in the game's history.
Enter Derby County and Brian Clough.
You are a bloody disgrace! Hey, Buzz! For missing the target from there, you want bloody shooting! Oh, it's crap! Oh, it's bloody rubbish! It's rubbish!
But how do you react, though, when someone, you know, from your playing staff comes in and says, "Boss, I think you're doing this wrongly"?
Good. Well, I ask him which way he thinks it should be done. We get down to it, and then we talk about it for 20 minutes, and then we decide I was right.
First of all, I think we've got more skillful players than you to take corners, and secondly, you're one of the best in the club. Get in there. That's what I pay you for.
Right shot there is Robson. Steaming away all on his own. Could try one here, certainly. And he scores! What a goal! John O'Hare, inside McGovern, good ball. Good tidying up then by Flynn. Hennessy. A little touch off, Hector in! And he scores! Kevin Hector! 1-0 to Derby. Gemmell's infield. Being chased by Osgood. Gemmell kept his feet. And a good shot, it's a deflection, it's a goal! Archie Gemmell! Moore. Oh, in fact, he's lost out to Alan Hinton. Across there towards Hector, and a goal! A good goal there for Derby County by Kevin Hector.
Arrogant, perhaps, is a fair word, and conceited, certainly. I'm conceited in respect of having got a side like Derby from where we were, certainly, and worked bloody hard for 4 years and got them to where we are now.
Hinton now looking for men to pass to. There's O'Hare. Hinton going well for the return ball. And a good save by Lawrence. He's out. It's O'Hare. Now a chance for Carlin. Durbin, Carlin. O'Hare! What an incredible tangle there. Willie Carlin, number 8, getting 2 bites at the cherry, and still no ball got past Tommy Lawrence. And the whole thing set up by a great run. There's McGovern, and there it is! McGovern! Dave Mackay forward, and Yates just getting that one out. Here goes Hector. Hector on his own now. A great scoring chance. There it is! Kevin Hector! Govern forward. Durbin a bit lucky, and that's a great ball for Hinton.
Hinton. And a chance for number 10, Hector! Kevin Hector! Oh, what a beautiful goal! Finding St John instead, or ain't to, until McFarlane got there. McFarlane takes a lot of bustling off the ball. Here's Durban, the through ball. And there goes Hector! This must be a goal! Yes, indeed, it's O'Hare! John O'Hare!
3 years later, Brian Clough had gone. It had been a tough act to follow, but Dave Mackay was the man to do it, and Derby were champions again.
Hinton then. McFarlane trying to get there, and Rioch blasts it, and Rioch scores it! Bruce Rioch! Rioch's 20th goal of the season. Derby go in front, 1-0. Derby are going to win the league, so the kids down there say.
While Derby celebrated, Brian Clough and Peter Taylor had moved a few miles to Nottingham Forest. It again proved to be an irresistible management team that once more produced a championship-winning side in 1977-78, the first time the club had ever won it.
McGovern with this kick. Short for Gemmell. Drives it. And the chance is there now for Burns. And he's scored. Ken Burns has got the equaliser.
And Will has got in behind United.
Big long cross. Gemmell. Yes! Archie Gemmell. That was as good a goal as you'll see this season. Beautiful stuff by Forrest.
Will.
There's Coop, limps to him. Yes, surely. It's there now. O'Neill has got it. And McGovern. Yes! 2-1.
Only Bill Shankly has surpassed Brian Clough as a compulsive voice in the modern game. This passionate Scot arrived at Liverpool in 1959 when they were in the second division. By 1962, they were in the first division.
He was just so honest in his outlook for me. He wanted it. If you went on the field, he wanted it to try and win.
And Shankly's brand of honesty mixed with discipline and a spicy humour became the talk of the game. They say his idea of a night out with his wife was to go and watch Liverpool reserves, and he expected them to win.
I hate getting beat at anything. I mean, a manager who's a manager and his players are honest with him and he's honest with them, he can transmit his thoughts to them. And I'm certain I've headed some balls that were going into the net. I've kept them out. Yeah. And I've scored a few goals as well. So that I've willed somebody to do something, and I've done it.
By 1964, Liverpool were on the verge of the championship when they were at home to Arsenal. And by this time, the Liverpool supporters, and especially the Kop, were an inspiration to their team. And somehow they reflected the Beatlemania mood of the time.
Later, with Chelsea now forming a guard of honour, Shankly and Liverpool had done it again. It was World Cup year for England, and one of their heroes, Roger Hunt, became the record goal scorer for Liverpool, alongside Ian St John. And at the centre of it all, the irrepressible Shankly. He'd used only 14 players in winning the title. There was no happier place than the Liverpool dressing room.
Yeah, well, let's hope we could have another one on Thursday.
It's a big thing to win the first.
Oh, wow, yeah.
I think the fact that you beat us here in the Cup was responsible for us winning the league.
Yes, it's true, but still, you did well. You're a great side, though. You deserve it, mate. I can go a better block.
Well, we're happy about it, Tommy. It's amazing. even that game today, I mean, we could have lost the game and won the championship.
That's true, yeah.
But that's not the point.
Shankly was forever looking forward. He now built another great side with the linchpin Emlyn Hughes.
Emlyn Hughes is debatable if he's a better player in the game. Oh, he's got everything. Ability, guts, he's quick, good in the air. You name it, he has it.
It's there! Johnson, Hughes. That's another one!
The partnership of John Toshack and Kevin Keegan was to prove a match-winning strike force in the early 1970s.
Misdirected headers from both sides, and here's Keegan as Webb misses his kick, gives it to Toshack, and Toshack puts it in. Keegan lucky to get that rebound off Webb. Toshack. Keegan! Well, that repays the compliment.
My idea was that to build Liverpool into a bastion of invincibility, you know, like possibly Napoleon had that idea. He would conquer the bloody world, you know. And that's what I wanted, that Liverpool would be untouchable.
So Liverpool won the title in 1973. And that was the last championship under the father of Liverpool football, Bill Shankly. A year later, he retired to be replaced by his right-hand man, Bob Paisley.
It was always in the back of your mind. You were trying to follow a legend.
Now, if some thought Liverpool's golden days were over, Paisley was to prove them wrong. In 9 years, he became, in terms of trophies, the most successful manager in the history of English football. 6 championships, 3 League Cups, 3 European Cups, and 5 Charity Shields. One of those successes was the league in 1976.
Cooper satisfied that that post is covered. And Keegan blasts the shot, and it's in! Neil, Callaghan, Smith. Keegan going in! Keegan. Case. Chance to shoot. And again!
One outstanding Liverpool side simply merged into another.
Case wondered about a shot, the ball bobbled, he may still get a chance. Plays it across, Kennedy with a chance to shoot and score! Kennedy. Johnson again, with room now for a cross. Towards Keegan's head and meeting it. What a lovely goal!
When Kevin Keegan left for Germany and more glory in 1977, twice becoming European Footballer of the Year, he seemed irreplaceable. But by the start of the next season, Liverpool had acquired a Scot called Kenny Dalglish. And one of their greatest performances that season was a 7-0 demolition of Tottenham.
Miss hit, but it's found Dalglish and he turns and scores! Dermot put in by Highway. And the chest down by Perriman dropped nicely for Dalglish, and now Kennedy. And Souness, can he turn on it? Pulled it back for Case. Dalglish! McDermott. Kennedy at the far post. On for McDermott. Ray Kennedy in the middle, the ball with Dalglish, and now Johnson, Souness, Dalglish did well to turn on the shot. Johnson, 4-0. Peter Taylor with just Velia to support him at the moment, and Case robbed him as clean as a whistle. And now here's Dalglish put away by Ray Kennedy. Dalglish for Johnson, number 5.
Highway. Can he get in on the scoring end? Penalty! And Duncan, having just saved Spurs a goal, looks now as though he's given away the sixth by bringing down Highway. Dane's now on his line, knows that he must keep still. Will Neil put it in the same place again? No, he doesn't. Ray Kennedy to Dalglish. Johnson. And Johnson, the ball into acres of empty space for Highway. And Highway, a brilliant crossback.
More or less the same faces, certainly the same matchless style, and without question the same formidable results. And a year later, Liverpool were champions again.
Ray Kennedy outside him. Dalglish's control was marvellous there as he hooked that down. But the defenders are back. But still there might be a way through. No, Hinchelwood has cleared it. Only as far as Neil. Forward come Liverpool once more. Souness. Now there are four men in the middle. If Johnson can find one with a cross. Case with the header. Oh, what a beauty it must do. Jimmy Case. Well, they kept working patiently, and you felt that sooner or later it had to happen. Case to take the corner. Header was by Johnson. Clearance by Francis. Again by Hansen. Cannon heading it straight up in the air. Dalglish challenging. Gilbert there. Dalglish trying to smuggle his way through and then chip it away from Burridge. What an astonishing goal by Kenny Dalglish. A mixture of cheek and genius. Cannon. Souness. Ray Kennedy. Nobody guarding him over there, and they're all now streaming into the middle. Johnson and McDermott. And McDermott gets it. Came out of nothing and put away with clinical simplicity.
Only Aston Villa, along with Everton, could celebrate a championship in these years dominated by Liverpool. Villa's 81 success under manager Ron Saunders was their first for some 71 years, and they went on to win the European Cup. Ironically, their skipper, Dennis Mortimer, was a Liverpudlian.
It's everybody's dream, really, playing the First Division to win the Championship. It's always been mine. It was always my dream to win it with Liverpool when I was a kid, but you know, to win it with Aston Villa, I mean, that's superb. And being captain as well, it's an exciting time, really.
And it's Morley again against Anderson. That's a nice looking. Oh, that was a push. Yes, a penalty. Robertson on Bremner. Gordon Cowans scored one penalty against Everton in his last 24 games. He's got that one all right. 1-0 Aston Villa. Oh, Horsburgh unshorn. The referee intelligently allows play on, gives the advantage. It's Morley attacking Anderson and looking for Weir. Yes, a very, very well-constructed goal, beautifully taken. And the referee plays some part in that for giving the advantage so well. But Peter Weir, the scorer.
Forward now to Dennis Mortimer. He's onside. He's got three men waiting. Comes back. First time shot from Tony Morley. And what a superb goal that was.
Again, he has to attack two. The ball in low for Shaw. A touch. Morley. Goal. Beautiful goal. Constructed by Morley. And completed by Morley. Going against Alveston, looking for the cross. It's a good one with goal. Beautiful. 1-0. So we've got Morley, number 11. And Cowans is lurking over in that area as well. Chips it straight in. With. Oh, what a goal! How did he manage to turn 180 degrees and pop that one in? Swain. Good cross. And With is going to score. He's done it again. Peter With.
And With. Good work from With.
Chance now for Gary Shaw. Oh, yes.
Shaw doing well for Mortimer as Swain breaks on the right. Geddes coming near post.
That's Shaw. That's 2-1 Villa.
Mortimer. Shaw through the middle. And it's there. Gary Shaw's done it again. Shaw. Cowans. Great ball through the middle for Mortimer. Can he finish it? He certainly can. With no problems at all.
Ball through to Little. Oh, beautiful ball up for Mortimer. Got to drive it. Oh, what a beaut. What a goal. Oh, that will do.
All this simply served to motivate Liverpool to even greater heights. And they now embarked on a hat-trick of championship successes previously only achieved by Huddersfield in the 20s and Arsenal in the 30s. One victory they savoured more than most was this one against Everton.
And Johnston against the bar, and Rush was perhaps confused by Johnston. It's Whelan who shoots, and it's in from Whelan. Grobbelaar through the pack, but not getting a solid contact. Sharp! And they have! Johnston. Richardson tussling, so too is Ratcliffe. And it breaks for Lee. And now Dalglish against Ross. Trying to jockey one of those positions that he's so good at. And Souness! Courtesy of Dalglish. Use up some of the 10 minutes that remain. Everton have had more of the ball in the second half. Certainly Liverpool have provided quality when they've got forward, as they do here with Johnston, who salutes the moment that may well have decided the destiny of this match.
A year later, in Bob Paisley's last year as manager, Liverpool were champions again.
Here's Dalglish finding space on the Liverpool left. Whelan. Well, it's Whelan who will claim the goal. Dalglish, good turn away from Holmes that time. Souness. Well, it's some shot to beat the England goalkeeper from that range. And the flag has stayed down, and it's Mark Lawrenson with a straight run in on goal here. It's 3-0. Johnston with a dummy from Dalglish for Lawrenson. Superb! Souness, and this time it's Johnston against Shilton, who tries to go round him. Still Johnston, and finished off by Ronnie Whelan.
And they won the Milk Cup. Such was the esteem in which he was held by the players, they broke with tradition and sent Paisley up those Wembley steps to receive the trophies.
This man has won 19 major prizes in 10 seasons as manager, and he finishes up quite rightly and properly as a winner. And all Bob will say, I'm sure, is thanks to his players.
Paisley's successor was the genial Joe Fagan, and he immediately achieved something his masterful predecessor and best friend had not. That was to win 3 major trophies in one season: the European Cup, the Milk Cup, and once again the League Championship to complete the hat-trick, where the goals of Ian Rush were a vital ingredient, as they were throughout this period.
Rush sprung the trap, gets round Stevens and puts Liverpool in front. Dalglish and Rush.
Lawrenson for Hodgson to run onto. It's away from Jones. Dalglish. Rush. 4-2. And there you see just why Ian Rush is feared so much.
Dalglish getting beyond Arnott. Still Dalglish and Rush.
Liverpool's hat-trick of championships came to an end in the 84-85 season, but the old trophy didn't travel very far. About 1 mile to be precise, across Stanley Park, where an old Everton hero, Howard Kendall, had survived calls for his head and with Colin Harvey as his assistant, built a team in the best traditions of Goodison.
Barry Venison back to Bennett. Sunderland playing with Walker and Wallace pushed forward, and the others, I would think, coming from midfield. Walker with the throw to Berry. Back to Walker. Curled in. Wallace was there! Oh, what a start! Bracewell.
On again for Reid.
Well played. Reid's cross. Gray! What a fantastic goal! Sharp is up with Chisholm. Here's Bracewell.
Goes back again
to Stephen. Gray's there again! Oh, I say! Another great header. Stephen away from Pickering. Yes! Another superb goal. Bracewell, and they're in trouble, Sunderland. Gray to Sheedy. Off the defender, and in.
The Merseyside monopoly continued. Even though Joe Fagan had now left Anfield, he stayed only 2 years as Liverpool's manager, and his surprise replacement was Kenny Dalglish. His response to the doubters? He won the double in his first season.
Whelan. And Dalglish is in here. Yes! The player-manager scores the goal that may edge Liverpool nearer to their 16th championship.
The FA Cup was the final act of another magnificent season.
Kenny Dalglish, I think, will have to build an extension at his home for all the prizes and the presentations and the trophies. What a season for him.
The following season, 86-87, Howard Kendall proved that his success 2 seasons earlier was no fluke. His shrewd management once more shifted the balance of power back to Everton. They won the title by 10 points from their neighbours Liverpool.
Oh, he's giving it away, and Clark is there, and he scores! What a silly goal to give away, and what an opportunist first goal for Everton for Wayne Clark. As you like to see when they're in full flow. Stevens. And it's there, and it's Watson. Dave Watson. With only his second goal in an Everton shirt.
They're living on their nerves back there, the West Ham defence. Great skill from Sheedy, and again. Now it's Harper. Reid's calling for it, and gets it as well, as Robson really went in with a hard challenge there. Chance surely for Clark to score the first goal, and it's in off the post. Well, they're ecstatic, and Everton have deserved it. They've really carried the game to West Ham. It's only the second goal Wayne Clark has got since his transfer from Birmingham City, and it's the first he's got at Goodison Park, and how the crowd are loving it. What we don't know, of course, is just how big a part the wind is playing in penning West Ham back, and here's Peter Reid who's trying to push them back further, and Peter Reid scores an exquisite goal. What a beauty. 24 minutes gone, it's Everton 2, West Ham 0, and Peter Reid's first goal of the season. It's 14 months since he got one against Tottenham Hotspur, and I bet he's not scored many better ones than that. Yeah, you can afford to grin. So yet another corner, nicely done this time by Harper. Trevor Stephen. Brady treads on the ball, it's just not going right for West Ham at the moment. Stephen again, it came back to him twice there, still he's going. Now Gary Stevens! What a screamer! so is he. Gary Stevens got the winner against Charlton in the last home game, but surely he's never struck a better one than this. Pike's all right again, and the header across goal, and it's 4-0. Dave Watson.
While Merseyside had stamped its name indelibly on the first 100 years of the Football League, so too had numerous other individuals whose success cannot always be measured in terms of medals and trophies. Heroes, legends, and great characters had all been created out of the pursuit and ultimate mastery of a football. And what memories they've given us.
Still up there. Eddie Gray. Oh, good footwork by Gray. Still going. Oh, what a lovely goal. What a masterly goal by Eddie Gray.
There goes Campino. He's onside. That's a good cross ball in play. And a great shouting save by Beck.
Mary Lloyd underneath this one, but beaten in the air by Jones. Armstrong's coming in there. Oh, a tremendous goal by Huddle. 1-0 to Tottenham. Now Houghton. And Oxford save themselves right at the last, bringing Dave Langan into the game. Here's his cross coming in, but Goff again there. Maybe Spurs now. It's 4 against 3 now for Tottenham. And Huddle's going through on his own. Oh, it's in, a superb goal by Huddle.
So we come to the Football League centenary season, and it was as though the script had been written in advance. Liverpool, with Dalglish's new players, Beardsley, Barnes and Aldridge very much in evidence, and already champions 16 times, reserved some of their finest performances to mark their 17th success and this special milestone in the game's history. They played the way the game was meant to be played, starting on the first day of the season at Arsenal.
Barnes now with a cross, and a good cross, and a goal by Aldridge. Well, the new strike force, although Aldridge was there for a part of last season, has struck for Liverpool with 9 minutes gone. O'Leary quickly in, the flag was up on the far side, but the referee acknowledged it. And allowed the game to continue. It's Charlie Nicholas for Arsenal. And a nice little chip in there towards Alan Smith. And Arsenal get the equaliser with Paul Davis. Well, there are 4 Liverpool shirts. 5, 6 of them now in the Arsenal penalty area. Now Barnes, can he pinpoint the cross? On it again! Oh, Steve Nicol! That was McMahon opening out the play. Venison. Whelan running strongly in the inside right channel. Aldridge pulling away at the far post. He got away from McDonald for a split second. Found Barnes. Barnes cross. Oh, great Johnston! Barnes with the kick. Handball, was it a Hills in there? A penalty's been given.
trying to clear that. He dwelt on it too long. Barnes. And Barnes again. 3. Won it. He won it from Brock. He's got Beardsley going to his left. It's still Barnes. That's a fabulous individual goal.
Houghton. Space for Beardsley. 3 Liverpool players in the middle, if Beardsley needs them. He doesn't. A supreme goal. If that is the goal which clinches the championship, it's just the way that Beardsley and Liverpool have played their football this season.
And after 100 years, wouldn't William McGregor have loved it all?
In our bread and butter is this, and that's what we want to win all the time, and this is the one that we want.